The conflict did not start in the last days. It did not begin with beasts rising from the sea. It did not begin with global systems, prophetic numbers, or final empires. It began in a garden. Before there were swords, there was soil. Before there were crowns, there were trees. Before there was bloodshed, there was breath, the breath of God filling dust with life. Humanity's first home was not a battlefield. It was Eden, and yet, hidden beneath the stillness of that garden, a question entered history, and with it, war. In the book of Genesis, chapter 3, the serpent speaks. He does not begin with force. He begins with distortion. Did God really say? That question is not innocent. It is insurgent. It introduces doubt where there had only been trust. The woman sees the fruit. The man takes it. A command is broken, and suddenly, shame replaces innocence. They hide. And when God calls them, something new has entered creation. Fear. But the most important words spoken that day were not Adam's excuse or Eve's explanation. They were God's declaration to the serpent. I will put enmity between you, and the woman, and between your seed and her seed. He shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel. This is the first prophecy in Scripture, the first promise, the first declaration of war. The Hebrew word used for seed is zerah. It can mean offspring, descendants, lineage, covenant inheritance. But here, it means more than biology. God declares enmity, hostility, between two lines, the seed of the serpent, the seed of the woman. From this moment forward, Scripture unfolds as the story of these two trajectories, two allegiances, two kingdoms, two spiritual inheritances moving through history. The war is not merely physical. It is moral, it is spiritual, it is covenantal, and it appears immediately. In book of Genesis chapter 4, two brothers approach God. Cain brings an offering from the ground. Abel brings the firstborn of his flock. One is received, the other is not. Cain's face falls. God warns him. Sin is crouching at the door. The language is predatory. But Cain does not master it. In a field, away from witnesses, Cain rises against his brother and kills him. The first death in Scripture is not accident. It is murder. The ground that once produced life now drinks blood. The war has surfaced. Later, in the first epistle of John 3:12, we are told Cain was of the evil one. That phrase is not poetic exaggeration. It is theological alignment. The serpent's seed is defined not by genetics, but by allegiance. The conflict spreads. Violence multiplies. By Genesis 6, the earth is described as filled with corruption. The seed of rebellion has matured. Humanity aligns itself with violence, and so judgment falls. The flood is not random destruction. It is the containment of a spreading infection. Yet even in judgment, the line of promise is preserved. Noah. A remnant survives. The war continues. As history unfolds, something remarkable happens. The promise narrows from all humanity to one family, Abraham. Through him the covenant is established. Through Isaac, not Ishmael. Through Jacob, not Esau. Through Judah, not his brothers. The line becomes specific, targeted, and wherever the line of promise advances, opposition intensifies. Pharaoh orders the death of Hebrew sons. Why target male offspring? Because the promise concerns a seed. Moses survives. The line continues. The promise moves from tribe to throne. David is anointed. God declares that from David's line, an eternal king will arise. Immediately, the pattern repeats. Saul hunts David. Later, Athaliah attempts to exterminate the royal line entirely. One child survives. Hidden, preserved, the seed cannot be extinguished. Babylon destroys Jerusalem. The monarchy collapses. It appears the promise has failed, but prophets speak of a branch. A shoot from the stump of Jesse. The line is wounded. not destroyed. Centuries pass. Then in Bethlehem, under Roman occupation, a child is born. Herod hears rumors of a king. He responds with slaughter. Infants die. The serpent strikes again, but the child escapes. Jesus grows. He teaches. He heals. Demons recognize him. Have you come to destroy us? They understand the prophecy. At the cross, it appears the serpent has prevailed. The heel is bruised. The seed is pierced. Darkness falls. But on the third day, the stone is rolled away. The resurrection is not merely victory over death. It is the crushing of the serpent's head. In the Epistle to the Romans 16:20, Paul echoes Eden. The God of peace will soon crush Satan under your feet. Genesis is being fulfilled. The imagery expands in the book of Revelation 12. A woman, a dragon, a male child destined to rule. The dragon seeks to devour the child. The serpent has become a dragon. The garden conflict is now cosmic. The war that began beneath a tree now stretches across heaven and earth. But the dragon is cast down. The ancient serpent is exposed. The end mirrors the beginning. Egypt oppresses Israel. Saul hunts David. Babylon burns Jerusalem. Rome crucifies Christ. Each episode reflects the same underlying enmity. Genesis 3:15 is not a minor verse. It is the theological spine of Scripture. The Bible is not random literature. It is a unified narrative of two kingdoms in conflict. History is covenantal, not accidental. Spiritual realities precede political events. The Messiah is the focal point of all redemptive history. The end restores what the beginning lost. Eden is not backstory. It is blueprint. The final chapters of Revelation echo the first chapters of Genesis. A tree of life restored. A river flowing. No more curse. The war ends where it began, but this time without a serpent. The war of the two seeds is not mythology. It is a theological structure running from Genesis to Revelation. The question is not whether the war exists. The question is allegiance. Whose seed do you belong to? The serpent's rebellion, or the woman's promise? The garden has never stopped echoing, and the ancient prophecy still stands. The head will be crushed, the kingdom will prevail, and the story that began in Eden will end in restoration.